What if everything you thought you knew about the Egyptian goddess Bastet was not quite right? What if she wasn't the goddess of love, grace, and strength that she's often portrayed as? Today we're going to uncover the truth about Bastet, from her origins to her evolution. Bastet, sometimes spelled Bast, was an ancient Egyptian goddess, but not of love and grace. Instead, she was a deity of protection, fertility, and the home. Often depicted with the head of a lioness or a domestic cat, Bastet was revered for her fierce and aggressive nature when it came to defending the pharaoh and the sun god Ra. She was the protector of households, a guardian against evil spirits, and a beacon of safety. In the diverse pantheon of ancient Egypt, each deity had their own specific domain. While love and strength were valued in Egyptian culture, Bastet wasn't the goddess in charge of these. That honor would go to goddesses like Hathor and Isis, who were more closely tied to love, beauty, and maternal care. However, the ancient Egyptian religion was a complex one, with different gods and goddesses often sharing or merging attributes. Over time, Bastet's role expanded, and she became associated with fertility and aspects of sexuality. But her primary function remained protective, not a goddess of love, grace, and strength. As for her role in wars, while some Egyptians might have invoked Bastet for protection during conflict, there's little evidence to suggest she was seen as a war goddess. That role was more often filled by deities like the war goddess Sekhmet. So how did Bastet evolve over time? Her worship dates back to Egypt's second dynasty, around 2890 to 2686 BCE. Initially, she was depicted as a lioness-headed goddess associated with the sun god Ra, but over time she morphed into a more domestic cat-like figure, or a lioness with pronounced feline features. As a protector, Bastet was believed to ward off evil spirits, dangerous creatures, and diseases. Her image as a lioness or a domestic cat symbolized her role as a guardian against threats and a maintainer of order. She was deeply tied to the home and family, and Egyptians often kept statues or images of Bastet in their homes for protection. Bubastis, or Per Bastet in Egyptian, was the epicenter of Bastet's worship. Once a year, the city hosted the grand festival of Bastet, known as the Bastet Mysteries. This event was a huge celebration featuring processions, music, dancing, and offerings to the goddess. People from all over Egypt would travel to Bubastis to participate in the festivities. In the complex world of ancient Egyptian religion, deities often shared or merged attributes, a process known as syncretism. Bastet was no exception, and she was sometimes linked with other goddesses. In conclusion, Bastet, the ancient Egyptian goddess, wasn't a deity of love, grace, and strength, but of protection, fertility, and the home. She evolved from a lioness-headed goddess associated with the sun god Ra to a domestic cat or lioness figure. Her main role was to protect households and families, and she was often invoked for her protective powers. While she did gain associations with fertility and aspects of sexuality over time, her primary role remained protective. Bastet was revered in the annual festival of Bastet, and despite the complexity of ancient Egyptian religion, she remained a distinct and important figure in the pantheon.